So now that Kirstjen Nielsen is done at DHS, um, more information has come out about the contentious relationship she had with Trump while he was at the White House. Now, in a report following the heels of Nielsen's resignation, the New York Times had a detailed report of how Trump would call Nielsen at home early in the morning in order to demand that she take action to stop migrants from entering the country. So just imagine working for somebody who decides to call you early in the morning when you're at home, before you even go to work. Like, hey, have you stopped all migrants from coming into the country yet? No, dude, it's 6 in the morning. What are you doing calling me? Like, I'm not even at work yet. I'll work on it later. Come on. Do you honestly think that that's not what happened? Guys usually up, at 3 in the morning, sometimes hate tweeting, or and especially probably around 6 in the morning, because that's when he starts his day on Twitter, and starts out his executive time. Now, as far as the migrants are concerned, remember, these are people that are seeking asylum here in the United States because they are running for their lives. It is 100% legal to seek asylum by entering the United States. You either have to be physically in the United States or at a port of entry, right? Now, Trump, he didn't like that. In fact, he hates migrants. He doesn't like immigrants. As long as they're brown, right? Now, if you're a white immigrant, well, then Donald Trump thinks you're great. Like, oh, yeah, come on over. Yeah, like Russian pregnant women? No, come on over, have your kids, and become American citizens. Sure, that's kind of what I did with Melania Trump, right? So, but if you're brown or black or some sort of minority, then no, he's not at all interested in you, right? And especially if you don't have money. If you have money, maybe you could change your mind, or maybe he'll change his mind. But anyway, he hates him so much that, according to the Times, he would go even so far to pressure Nielsen to take measures that were illegal, including blocking all migrants from seeking asylum. Now, realistically, how would you actually do that? You would have to physically prevent them from entering into the United States or a port of entry. Now, we have seen that before with border officials launching tear gas into basically crowds of migrants. Donald Trump looked at that and said, yes, I want more of that. I want you to do more. I want you to get real tough on these migrants so that they go home. That's what's going on here. That's what he wants more of. And unfortunately for Nielsen, she's like, it's kind of against the law. I mean, we got a lot of flack for that. The immigration, courts are striking down our immigration stuff. If we do anything like that, it'll be illegal. And we're going to get in trouble for it. And by we're, I mean me. Probably not you, because you're sitting president. And for some reason, we have an attorney general now that doesn't believe in indicting a sitting president, no matter how much crime he does. So there's that. Now, again, not only is that massively illegal, but it's also completely heartless. I mean, I know, right? The bleeding heart liberal actually caring about other people who are not Americans. Look, I also know that there are issues at the border, right? Look, the worst case scenarios, look, we have a lot of people coming in that we might not have the resources to be able to take care of. And, okay, I understand that, right? And I understand that we need some sort of system in there to be able to take care of people, and we need resources being sent to the border. We need to expedite things like, immigration cases and asylum cases. You don't do that by blocking people from entry. You don't do that by building walls or barriers and things like that. No, what you have to do, I think, is, again, send more aid and resources, build shelters, or send immigration judges so that they can quickly process claims of asylum, things like that. That'd be great. Now, you also have issues of human trafficking, right? And you also have issues of not enough shelter, but those are things that can be remedied. And I understand that there are a lot of migrants that are coming at a fairly fast rate, and there is kind of, I wouldn't say an emergency, But there are certain issues, and we need to do something about it, right? Now, that something is not keeping old people out. That's not what we do as a country, right? And we actually need to do something to solve these problems. And actually, if we really wanted to solve the root of the problem, we would actually end our drug war overseas. Or I'm saying not overseas, but in South America and Central America. That would help out a lot. Or increase aid. You know, President Trump says, no more aid. In fact, we're going to cut off aid unless you're able to stop the migrants. It's kind of really counterproductive. But again, Donald Trump's not a smart person. He doesn't think about this, right? Instead, he says, I want to break the rule of law. I thought he was the law and order president. No, he's not the law and order president. He's the, I'm going to break the laws if it suits me president. Or at least I'm going to order you to break the laws, right? And Nielsen's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to break the law for you. Make no mistake, she probably wanted to, but at the same time did not want to get in trouble. Because Trump's motif is, the whole theme of Trump is, I'm going to order you to do something illegal that helps me but doesn't help you at all. And if you're stupid enough to follow it and then get caught, well, then I don't care about you. That's kind of how it works here. So now, on that, she repeatedly noted that the limitations imposed on her by her department by federal laws, court settlements, and international obligations. But rather than placating the president, Nielsen's attempts at explaining why she could not simply shut down the asylum process would only further stoke the flames of the U.S. leader's fury, according to the Times. You know why? He doesn't like hearing the word no. He doesn't think that U.S. law should apply to him or his decisions. You know who else thinks that? Dictators. People who don't care about rule of law, who don't care about the Constitution. Donald Trump wants to be a dictator because that's what he is. And if you don't do what he tells you, he's going to get angry at you, throw a fit, and eventually fire you, which is exactly what happened. According to the Times, tensions between the DHS chief and the president came to a head in the spring of 2018 after Nielsen hesitated to sign a memo enforcing Trump's zero-tolerance policy. Now, that is the separation of children at the border, right? Now, that would have resulted in 2,500 children being separated from their parents at the border. Now, when she refused to sign that, the president berated her repeatedly in front of her peers during a cabinet meeting, leading her to draft a resignation letter. Before submitting it, Nielsen reconsidered and decided to stay. Why did she want to stay? Well, why would anybody want to stay? Power. It's always about power. And look, again, she wanted to stay. She wanted to get back on his good side and had requested a meeting. That was the meeting, of course, in which she was ultimately fired. They wrote from the New York Times, while Nielsen came prepared with a list of ways to improve her relationship with the president, Trump was determined to ask for a resignation. And after that meeting, she submitted it, citing according to the New York Times, citing 3 people familiar with the meeting. In her resignation letter, Nielsen wrote of how, for more than 2 years of service, beginning during the presidential transition, she had worked tirelessly to advance the goals and missions of the department. And of course, the only thing that stopped her is that if she had implemented those illegal policies, it would have been her ass and not Trump's. And yet still, she would try to find a way to do a lot of what Trump wanted when it came to immigration. Look, a lot of former staffers for President Trump, former aides, people that are close, they tried and failed to find that line. Why? Because there is no line. What Donald Trump asked for is simply illegal in a lot of circumstances. He is asking for things that we should not be doing. And that should really tell you something. And then, of course, gets mad at you when you're not able to break the law for him. That's who he is. He is a serial criminal, a lawbreaker, and someone who never takes responsibility for his own actions. That is who Donald Trump is. And for the people that work for him, that are doing his bidding, especially when it comes to the immigration, just know that even though you think you're trying your best in order to implement his policies, just know that no policy against immigrants is too evil for Donald Trump. And so there will come a day where he will ask you to do something illegal, and you've got to make the choice whether or not you're going to do that. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.